Hi, my name is Wesley Dickinson, and I am here to talk about a cure for wellness and a couple of unanswered questions I feel like that there have been left out of, and also a couple parts that I feel if it were changed in a way that it would actually make the film better, or I don't know, maybe not, but whatever, however you feel about it. So in this story, we at one point in time see our main character Lockhart with his mother. It is about halfway through the movie, or actually like a quarter of the way through the movie or so. And his mother was making a ballerina. And shortly after, we see Lockhart traveling to see Pembroke. He was trying to go and retrieve him at the main area where the castle was, where the treatments were being taken care at. So, but on his way back from there, where he thought everything was going to be fine, and everything like that, they end up getting in a car accident. And whenever he gets in this car accident, we see a couple of scenes start to flash. Like we see a girl start floating with a blue mist behind her, and we see the girl in the bathtub with the eels surrounding her, such things like that. And in that certain scene, I'll have a couple of pictures shown that so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I feel as if instead of it showing the girl with the blue mist, even though that's like their main picture for the movie, like it's like the background for it on the posters and everything like that, I kind of feel as if it should have been Lockhart. And the reason why I say this is because whenever they're talking, Lockhart and the mother, he asks her why the ballerina's eyes are closed, and she makes a statement of somewhere around the line, along the lines of saying it's because she's dreaming and she doesn't know it. Well, after Lockhart, if you watch the scene very closely, which I have examined that scene many, many times to make sure I had it right, he's not wearing a seatbelt, and whenever he gets in the car accident, the car does flip many times. And in the very, very, very end of it, if you look very closely, the window was cracked on the side that the car ended up landing on, and he is floating through the car whenever it's rolling. And whenever he gets to the very, very end of the car accident, his head is actually right at the window, and then we just see the car scrape. To me, that man is dead. Like, there's just no other way of explaining it. This man is dead. He is not alive, and that's why I think that it should be him in that picture that we see for the main film rather than it being the girl, because it would kind of connect everything together in a sense of being it's him in a comatose place, or he's dead, and these are like the trials or whatever of like purgatory and stuff like that. That's why all this bad stuff is happening to him, because he's going through his last trials. So that's one part of it I feel like should be changed, and it would make a very drastic change because it would show um, his expanding in the character. Now, with that being said, it would change the story very, very minorly, but at the end of it all, I think it would kind of change the outcome, um, in a way of, of course, we see him break out of his cast because, whatever, it's not real. And, throughout the whole story, we see this kind of, and, I give the director props for this 100% and the story writer, because they give you this kind of bringing you back to thinking that he's not insane and he is insane. It's like a constant battle of like, is this guy going crazy or is he actually telling the truth? Because there was a couple of times whenever, even after I watched it the first time, I was sitting there thinking like, you know, man, during this part, I still thought that the guy was a loon. He was absolutely insane. And who wouldn't? Because there was just constant evidence that the main guy of the castle was just giving to us, like always constantly somehow just like reaching up and grabbing and just like throwing him back down. Even after we see him get cut out of the cast, we still see this kind of, maybe he's still kind of crazy. Like maybe this is just all in his head. as I had mentioned before, the comatose state. So, or the comatose state, my bad. So I just feel like that short little part could actually tell a longer story in the whole end. Now, if we did change that and we did say he was in a coma or he was dead, then in the part where, once again, going back to those short images that showed up, there was a part where Lockhart was standing with a man in front of a furnace, of course, showing um, that they were going to be burning a body of some sort. Some religions do that, and basically cremating him. What that is showing is that someone died, and who died though? Throughout the whole movie, we don't know. We never see who actually died. Maybe it's a symbolic representation going back to what I said, that it's showing that he is dead and that he's basically attending his own funeral. Because, of course, we see an image of his mother, once again, waking up in the middle of the night out of pure panic and shock. So maybe Lockhart really did die in that car accident. And if he didn't, then what other proof do we have that he didn't? Because, I mean, just think about it. Like, really? Like, out of all these years, the castle burned down originally, and then all of a sudden, at the very end, it burns down again? Like, precisely this many years after? Seems kind of fake to me. But maybe, let's say he didn't hear those stories about the castle being burned down. What if he didn't hear those? Maybe the castle would end up burning down and would have had a different ending in the end, ultimately. For sure, 100%. There's no way it wouldn't have, because he would have never known about the castle burning down, so why would he just all of a sudden just know that the castle was going to burn down, and it burned down exactly X amount of years, being a round number. I don't remember exactly if it was 100 or 150, but we know that the Baron is old, and it's the same Baron as before. So, who died? Was it Lockhart? Was it the mother, maybe? Maybe the mother died? We know that she was kind of getting up there in age due to her being in basically an assistant home where she can no longer live by herself. That's why she makes ballerinas, maybe to keep her sanity. Maybe it's a visual representation of her own life. Maybe she's the one dreaming. Maybe it's all in her head. Maybe this whole entire story takes place in her head. And she sees all of this stuff. She sees that her kid is, becoming this big success now, and she just doesn't want to get him. She just doesn't want him to get lost out there in the world like her husband did, who committed suicide whenever the stock market crashed, and which is the same exact business that Lockhart is in. So maybe this whole story takes place in her head. That's always a good thought. So we have a couple theories here now. Either Lockhart is dead, the mother is dead, or this whole entire story just takes place in the mother's head. I mean, to me, those three ideas make the most sense. Because for us to sit here and just assume that the Baron is the same exact Baron as it was 100 or 150 years ago, and that the eel juice sweat stuff, the sweatshop, whatever we want to call it, is actually a way to keep us living longer is kind of far-fetched. But for the story, it works. It gives us that dark, very dark kind of feel to everything. So, where is the setting? It's in the castle, duh, right? No. Is it Lockhart's coma / death? Is it the mother's head? Or is it all real? That's what we kind of have to ask here. And I feel like I've given some valid evidence to show why we would think that it would be one of the other ones and rather it not be real. Plus, at the very end of the movie, if you watch the whole entire thing all the way to the credits, we see Lockhart have this really deviating smile. Like, it's very demonic, and it's very agitating. It's very aggressive. And it just gives us this question of, like, what happens next? It's almost like they were trying to lead into a second film, but you can't really have a second film, like a sequel, to all this, I could totally 100% see a prequel to the movie. That would be amazing. Show the original story of the Baron. They told countless accounts. They had countless accounts of the story, and they had different origins of the story. They had different showings of the story. You know, we had the people up in the castle tell the story. We had people below the castle tell the story. We had the man that drives back and forth tell the story. We had three different versions of the story that all added up to be ultimately the same exact story. So why would it make sense for them to leave off a question? And the question being is Lockhart, where is he? What is he at this point? Is he dead? Is he alive? Is he insane? What is he gonna do next? He can't just go back to his old job because he just blew off his bosses right there. What is he gonna do? You know, here's an idea. Lockhart gets the cure that they had to expand their lifelong life. I don't really know how to say their lifelongness, prolonging their life. There we go. He gets that, and he starts to take it himself, along with the girl, prolonging their lives to make sure that maybe it doesn't happen again. I mean, the man's dead. He had a shovel in his face, and he got ate by eels. You know, a little bit of taste of his own medicine there. Um, but that just doesn't seem realistic. And he can't go back to his old job, like I said. So what does Lockhart do next? That's the ultimate question. And I don't think that there is an answer to that question unless I had already answered it in the statement that he's dead. And these were the trials of either basically, he's either going to go to heaven or hell. Way we could look at that is the workers in the castle are basically angels, and the Baron is basically the manifestation of the devil. That's basically how we could look at that. And those are the trials of purgatory. And there's really no other way to look at it in my eyes, at least. That's what I saw. So where does he go? He completed the trials. I mean, he took on Satan face to face, or at least the manifestation of him, and he beat him. So does he ultimately go to heaven in a way, or is he just a lost soul now? Like, where does he go? Maybe that's why the smile is at the end and why he's just driving away. Or he was in the coma and the car was never found, and he's down the hill somewhere and his soul's trying to get back to it. Maybe that's why he's driving down there with that very eager smile. Maybe he's trying to get back to his old world so that he can leave and go back to his old life. Maybe that's why he's driving back down the hill. And as for the girl that he's taking with him, I mean, she's just a lost soul who was there, and he's trying to rescue her at this point. So that's all I gotta say on the matter of that. That Lockhart's question for us is where am I going? And I think that we answered it pretty well. So thank you.